Superstitions. They're some of the oldest beliefs we have as humans. These are ancient ideas that have, for thousands of years, really shaped how we live, what we fear, and even how we hope. They're just woven right into the fabric of our cultures, guiding us in ways that are sometimes subtle and, well, sometimes not so subtle.
I mean, come on, I'm willing to bet you have. It's almost like a reflex, isn't it? You say something out loud, something hopeful like, "I've never been in a car accident," and your hand just instinctively starts looking for the nearest wooden table to tap. But have you ever actually stopped to think, why? Why do we do that?
Well, it turns out that one simple little act connects you to this huge global web of rituals and beliefs. This is not just some quirky habit you picked up. No, it's a practice with incredibly deep roots in history, and it's just one of literally thousands you can find all over the world.
That's right. The original idea was probably that by touching a tree or knocking on wood, you were actually calling on these powerful tree spirits for protection. Or maybe you were just thanking them for your good luck so they wouldn't take it away. It's this direct, unbroken line from an ancient belief to an automatic habit we still have today. Wild, right?
And really, that's just one tiny example. Every single culture has its own set of rituals, all designed to tackle those same big universal anxieties about luck, about safety, about the future. It's kind of like a shared human story, just written in all these strange habits and quiet beliefs. Okay, let's really dive into this.
So, let's go on a quick whirlwind tour around the globe. I want to show you just how beautifully strange and actually how surprisingly similar some of these beliefs can be.
Okay, so most of us in the West have heard of Friday the 13th, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. This fear of numbers, it's universal, but the actual numbers people fear are fascinatingly different. In Japan, for instance, the number 4 is a serious problem. That's because the word for it, shi, sounds exactly like the word for death, not something you want to mess with. Meanwhile, over in Italy, it's the number 17 that gives people the chills. Why? Well, in Roman numerals, XV can be rearranged to spell VXI, which is Latin for I have lived, as in, my life is over. And get this, in Spain, it's not Friday the 13th, it's Tuesday the 13th that's considered unlucky, because Tuesday is ruled by Mars, the god of war. So you've got 3 totally different numbers, all tied back to the exact same fundamental fears, death and conflict.
Now, moving on from numbers, let's talk about money. In Russia, you'll get some pretty serious looks if you start whistling inside a house. The old belief is that you're summoning mischievous spirits or the wind, which will literally blow all your money right out the door. And what's so amazing is that thousands of miles away in Brazil, there's an almost identical belief. You never, ever put your purse or your wallet on the floor. The symbolism is exactly the same. It's seen as disrespecting your wealth, and if you do that, it's bound to leave you.
Now here's one of the most widespread fears in all of human history: the evil eye. It's this idea that a jealous or envious look from someone can actually bring you harm. And cultures have come up with these beautiful, distinct ways to fight it. In Turkey and all across the Middle East, you'll see the famous Nazar, that striking blue eye amulet. It's designed to reflect the curse right back at the sender. And then in Mexico and much of Latin America, you'll see a simple red bracelet, especially on a baby's wrist. It's believed to do the exact same thing: guard against that negative energy and protect the most vulnerable.
Okay, so we're seeing these patterns, right? Unlucky numbers, weird rules about money, charms for protection. We see these themes of avoiding bad luck and inviting good fortune absolutely everywhere. But this brings us to the real question. In our modern scientific age, why do these beliefs stick around? Why are our brains so hardwired for superstition? So let's get into the psychology of it all. This is where we get to uncover the mental mechanics that make these beliefs so incredibly powerful and honestly, so hard for us to shake. First things first, let's get a clear definition on the table. A superstition at its core is really our brain's attempt to put some order onto a chaotic world. It's a response to uncertainty, a tool we reach for when we're facing something we can't explain or, more importantly, can't control.
So how does a superstition actually form in our heads? Well, it's a surprisingly simple 4-step process. First, you're in a stressful, uncertain situation. Let's say you have a huge exam coming up. Second, you do something completely random, like you happen to use a specific pen to study. Third, you get a positive result. You ace the exam. And fourth, your brain, which is a pattern-seeking machine, creates a connection. It decides that the pen caused the success. That's a classic cognitive bias right there. And just like that, your lucky pen is born.
And this is why it sticks.
See, superstitions aren't just random quirks. They tap directly into our deepest human needs. For one, they help us manage fear. In a world that feels out of control, a ritual gives us an illusion of control. They also strengthen our cultural identity. They connect us to our family, our community, our traditions. Then there's our brain's obsession with finding patterns. It just has to find a cause for every effect. And finally, if the ritual works even just one time, well, that's all the psychological reinforcement our brain needs to keep doing it forever.
And make no mistake, this is not just some ancient history lesson. Think about it. When a modern athlete wears their lucky socks for the big game, or a student refuses to use any pen but their lucky pen for an exam, they are doing the exact same thing our ancestors did. They are performing a ritual to manage their anxiety and to feel like they have some small bit of control in a high-stakes situation.
So when we start to look at it this way, we can see these beliefs not as mistakes in logic, but as something much deeper, a really meaningful part of the human story.
There's this idea that these beliefs tell the story of our shared humanity, a story where our rational minds have to meet the great mysteries of life. I think that really gets to the heart of it. Superstitions live in that fascinating space where reason has to grapple with luck, with fate, and with pure chance.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Whether it's avoiding a number in Japan or wearing a blue eye charm in Turkey, these practices are so much more than just silly habits. They're like a mirror. They reflect our most universal hopes, our deepest fears, and our profound, unending need to find meaning in a world that so often feels completely random.
These rituals show us that no matter where we come from, we all share that same fundamental desire to feel safe, to be lucky, and to have just a little bit of control over our own destiny. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's your superstition? What's that little ritual, that lucky charm, that quiet belief you hold on to? And what does it say about your story?